Hey everybody, welcome back to Airsoftology Mondays, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and also screwed up really bad last week. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs. That's right, let me get this one out of the way. Yep, I borked up last week's episode pretty darn good. So the title question kind of got chopped off in half. I didn't get to finish it. It's talking about wide bore barrels. So I'm going to be picking it back up on this one. So if you're not, I know a lot of you guys were like, hey dude, what happened? Yeah, I was on vacation. I'm trying to stitch this thing together in the middle of the jungle, literally in Costa Rica, and get it uploaded and all that. And I totally screwed up on it. So incredibly sorry on that, guys. I really am. But good news is I'm back, and you guys who placed orders for patches, I am shipping those. So they are already out, they're already gone. If you guys ordered it, and on their way to you for this new year, and happy 2017. By the way, if you guys want to get patches, I do have them up in the store. I've got pretty much all of them in stock now. I'm like loaded back up fresh for 2017, between $8 and $12 shipped anywhere in the world, free shipping anywhere. So just click the link over there and head on over if you guys are interested in supporting the show and getting a cool patch at the same time. So yeah, since I've got to make up for a big mistake and do that, let's dive into questions. Oh, but real quick, check this out. This is from my buddy Corey, his shirt company, Guardian Tees. They do these cool Milsim shirts, and of course, you know me and my Call Your Hits thing, right? So I wanted to share this guys with you. I'm gonna wear it today. By the way, if you guys want to check him out, I have a link to Guardian Tees down in the description below if you guys. They do some really cool airsoft lifestyle shirts. But enough of me hawking my wares and Corey's wares. Let's dive into what you're really here for, and that's your questions in the Palco Mail Call. Pavlikos writes, what should I bring to my first Milsim? All right, assuming you're not going to be doing any major camping overnight, 48-hour straight games, those kind of things, I would definitely say a good pair of broken-in boots are critical to bring to your first Milsim. Plenty of water. You want a big hydration pack. That is probably one of the most important things you can have to take to one of these games. Just you need all the water you can intake. You're going to go through a lot more than you think. I would just bring clean socks, so you have dry socks in case there is water on the field, you get your socks wet. And I would also look at maybe bringing a whole separate set of uniform change for the second day. If it's a hot summer day and you start sweating, let me tell you what, it is no fun the next morning putting on a nice, gross, sweaty combat uniform. I have done that many times, so that's why I usually bring a uniform for a Saturday and a Sunday if it's a 2-day game, unless I just plan on staying in my uniform the entire time. It's one of those overnighters. Then you just want to burn your uniform and you're done because it's going to stink so bad. But those are my tips, I would say. Do that. You definitely want comfortable eye pro. It's going to be on your face for a very long time. And I would bring some anti-fog somehow. Even if you have the best anti-fog goggles with the fans and all that, the best ones you can find, dual pane thermal lenses, all that mess, you're going to want some anti-fog, especially at nighttime if you plan on playing then, because the temperatures can change. You're hot, it's cooler outside. You can fog up even worse. Just a lot of things going on. That is ultimately my advice for you, just for the important things. Again, bring as many mags as you can carry. You're probably gonna need mid caps, so those are gonna be important for you, and just a few other things like that. But I wanna cover the things that most people don't talk about are those things. Definitely gonna bring enough snacks on the field with you, and make sure you have a pack on your back. You're gonna wanna carry a lot of stuff. A lot of times you're gonna be so far away from your FOB or your car if you parked, or your staging area, that you're gonna wanna have a lot on you so you can resupply in the field as you play. Scott Petty writes, looks like you cut the part about wide boards a little short and danger zone. So yeah, I was digging my Archer shirt last week, so I'm glad you noticed the danger zone there. Actually, I didn't get to show you the whole thing. It was Archer for President 2016. Unfortunately, my candidate didn't win. That was very sad. I was really hoping for Archer. Yeah, and then Lemur was going to be the vice president. So anyway, I digress. For those who don't watch Archer, probably going, what the heck are you talking about? Anyway, I did last week totally screw up on my edits, like I said in the beginning, and didn't get the wide bore question answered for you guys, and I'm so sorry. So let me go back. I did last week describe the differences between a wide bore and a tight bore. So typically, we're gonna do a little math here, so follow me mentally. Airsoft BB is 5.95 millimeters. That's roughly just a hair under 6 millimeters in outer diameter. So you want your inner barrel on a tight bore barrel to be as close as possible to that without jamming up the barrel. So tight bores I've seen go from anywhere from a 603 millimeter, 6.03, and that's, some guns are even coming with 6.03s, all the way down to 6.00s. Typically 6.01 is about as tight as you want to go, unless you're running really good BBs. So a wide bore is the opposite. You're going to have a larger gap. So right now you got the inner barrel, which is, that, and you got the inner diameter of the inner barrel, and you get the BB, and they're both just really tight. So like that, and you're very little room. It's just not giving that BB a lot of play, so it's just going to head down straight. That's the concept behind a tight bore barrel. Wide bore is the opposite. You have a larger room, so you have like more of a gap, more of a space around the outside of the BB, and those can go up to like 6.24. I've seen them 6.10, 6.24, 6.25, 6.3 even, or even bigger. So a large gap in terms of airsoft BBs. We're talking about large here, we're talking about fractions of a millimeter, but in reality it gives you a bigger cushion or opening around the BB and then the barrel itself. So the concept is to have a cushion of air so this BB can ride on it. Now where the wide bores really excel, through a lot of tests, people are seeing great results from a wide bore in some, and I say quite a few, HPA applications. So if you have a Wolverine, a Polar Star, something along those lines, you're running HPA, wide bores seem to be very effective because the way air is handled in an HPA gun, the way the air is sent in the system, I'm not going to dive too deep in this, is a little different how it works and how air, what they call voluming, handled in a wide bore or in a HPA gun versus a regular AEG or even a gas blowback gun where you're dealing with some different things. So people have had good experiences with increased accuracy on the HPA because HPA out of the box inherently, I've found, at least myself, in my own experiences, has a little, it's harder to get it more accurate at range. You really have to spend a little more time tuning than you can on an AEG, but a wide bore can counteract some or all of that. So that's where people are using them. Some people have had luck with them on AEGs. I've heard of people doing that, but I think really if you guys are looking at a wide bore, HPA plus wide bore is kind of that perfect little marriage. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more. I know I'm finishing up from last week. If you guys want to see the beginning of last week, I'll have a link to last week's video. I'll put it up in the corner over here for you guys so you can click it and you kind of know where I'm picking up and running from there. The Blue Shell writes, I'm about to rewire my 9.6 volt nickel metal hydride batteries to Dean's. Is it okay to rewire my smart charger to Dean's too? Thanks. So yes, well, let me give you a quick tip on the battery itself. So on the battery, you have two wires. You have the black and the red. Do not, trust me, from a guy who's screwed up before, not paying attention, don't take your wire cutter and go across both of them. You're gonna bridge the connection. You're gonna actually short the wire, short the battery, and you're gonna have at least a spark, at worst a blown up battery that's gonna discharge or is being terrible, or you're gonna, you're not gonna be a good situation. So first tip, when you do it, cut one at a time. One, resolder. Two, resolder. Do them separate from each other. Just big tip there if you're doing it. If you guys have never done a battery. If you guys have done batteries before, you're going, Jonathan's common sense. But if you haven't, that's probably the best advice I can give you. As for your smart charger, if all of your batteries are getting switched over to Dean's, then yeah, go ahead and cut it and do it. It's not gonna hurt anything. Just make sure, again, you're matching up the correct colors, the red to the positive on the Dean's connectors, and the Dean's connectors on the back where you solder in the 2 points will have a markings, positive and negative. So make sure you look at that and you put the red on the plus and the black goes on the negative, the minus, and then you're good to go. What I would recommend though, if you are not gonna swap everything over from now on out to Dean's, I would say go ahead and make an adapter. Have an adapter that goes from your Tamiya all the way over, or you can use that by cutting your battery plug, or if you want to do the other way, you can put the Dean's on and then make an adapter from the bit you cut off on the wire. So give yourself a little more room, solder the other end of Dean's on there so you can actually adapt it back down, because you may get a new gun, new batteries, they may not come that way, and you're gonna wanna have an adapter to make those charging happen. So if you just have one gun or a couple guns, you can do a full Dean swap over, which by the way, I highly recommend. I've talked about this in previous shows. You will see a big benefit on doing those changes. If you change over to Dean's, is actually, you'll see a rate of fire increase, at least 1, maybe 2 rounds per second sometimes. But yeah, if you're gonna do it all. If not, maybe think about an adapter or either way, if you just wanna go all in for broke, I personally think that's the best way. Chop it, make everything Dean's, and don't look back. All right, guys, that's it for questions this week, which means it is time for the Code Red Headset video recommendation of the week. And this one, I gotta say, I like paintball videos. I like the vibe and the styling and the feel of it. And this one is a team, if you guys follow Speedball, you probably know who they are. It's Team SYG, and they're out of California. Now, what these guys do is they play a very aggressive speedball, speed soft type feeling game indoors. So they're usually the dye masks, loaded out, paintball guards on, running HPA pistols, things like that. So I just really think this is neat. It's a good way to show off people's loadout. So this one is HELLI, which is El Chapo, it's one of the players. It's his loadout video. It's kind of like his player profile / loadout. It's just shot extremely well, very cinematic, and a good vibe to it. I'm really starting to see more and more well-shot videos in the airsoft industry come out that are highlighting players in specific teams. I think airsoft is going to continue to mature in that realm and start to grow up like paintball did. I'm not saying we are paintball. It's very different. Two totally different sports, although you happen to be shooting at each other with them in both of them. I just think that when you see media like this start to emerge from this, it's showing the maturity of airsoft. So I'd love to see more of this. And again, I have a lot of respect for the Team SYG. I don't play a lot of Speedsoft myself, but what these guys can do is pretty freaking awesome. In fact, I'm gonna be seeing here soon. There should be, I think Team SYG is gonna be at the Oregon Airsoft Arena's Winter Expo. And I think it's on January 27th. So it's the weekend after SHOT Show when I come back from SHOT Show. And I will be there, by the way, guys. If you guys wanna come hang out, I know it's a little bit early. We're at the beginning of January, it's toward the end. But if you are in the Oregon area, come hang out there and you can meet these guys too. The Team SYG, they're gonna be there as well. Well guys, that's it for this week. Thank you as always for hanging out here, and thank you for being so cool in the comment section. In fact, last week when I did screw up on that whiteboard barrel, a lot of you guys jumped in and pretty much finished what I was gonna say down in the comments. So thank you so much for picking up my slack, because I'm a terrible person who totally borked up on his vacation. But like I said, I'm back, we're good, we're back. This one's gonna be a whole no missed questions. So guys, until next week, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun. But no matter what you do, remember not to edit out stuff and call your freaking hits.